Hello, good evening. These measures really do work, the Prime Minister assured us in a press conference tonight as he produced his three-tier alert system for England. But within minutes of those words, we heard from his chief scientists not convinced the moves go far enough. Chris Whitty, his chief medical officer, advised that areas on Tier 3, the highest level, would have to go further and introduce their own extra restrictions. And this evening, we saw notes from the SAGE group of scientists' September meeting. They were advising of the need for a circuit break 3 weeks ago and wanted to see the closure of all bars, restaurants, cafes and gyms. So how does the PM reconcile that hardline position of scientists with some Libertarian MPs in his own party? Today, one accused the government of trying to abolish death and warned that the cost to the living was too high to try and save every single life. Have we got the balance right? And will the country and the party back the PM this time around? Here's Nick Watt. Nick.
Thanks, Emily. Well, let's just first take a look at those three new...
responsibility for the spread, and that's what needs to happen.
Thank you all very much indeed. Thanks for joining us this evening. As today's measures were announced, many parts of the country were still coming to terms with the economic after effects when rules were tightened back in the summer. Newsnight's been following the stories of people in Bolton, in Greater Manchester. In July, with cases of coronavirus rising, the town was placed under further lockdown restrictions. So how are people getting by? Filmmaker Nick Blakemore has been back to Bolton to find out. Voices from Bolton speaking to Nick Blakemore there. Now, should ballet dancers think about retraining in the performance-free time of COVID? It was not the conversation the government intended to provoke with an old advertisement from last year. A dancer with the tagline, rethink, reskill, reboot. But by lunchtime, the Culture Secretary himself had sought to distance himself from it, calling the advert crass. And this evening, it was pulled. Tonight, we thought we'd take a moment to celebrate the world of dance by speaking to one of our finest. Akram Khan began to dance at the age of 7. He's worked alongside Anish Kapoor. The advert that resurfaced today, it was one from last year. The government have distanced themselves from it. But I wonder what effect you think it will have had as it circulated to those in the dance profession or coming into it or training.
I mean, taking away...
We will get over. Is art going to be there for us? Are the dancers going to be there? Are the performers going to be there to come back to in 6 months' time?
As I said, I'm in a...
Akram Khan, thank you. Thanks for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you.
Before we go, we're going to take you through some of tomorrow's front pages. You can see some of the headlines. 22 million now hit by stricter curbs. 9 more could join them this week. The Telegraph has SAGE urged the PM to order a harsher lockdown, the story that we were bringing you at the top. The Financial Times, Johnson faces Tory backlash over a shift to tougher lockdown measures. And the Liverpool Echo, back us and we will beat this. Our plea to Boris as the region's placed under strict new lockdown. That is all from us tonight, but I'll be back tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye.